I love these town halls because we could really get in the weeds. Well, you can't do that if you're in a debate and the fella says, you got 1 minute, George, to answer this question. I said, 1 minute? I'm from Waterville. I'm French-Canadian. I can't get through anything in a minute.
I get through my name on the first
Well, Bill, you mentioned you raised a very good point. Let's get in the weeds here a little bit, okay? I'm going to push back a little bit. I'm going to tell you the truth. All right. Let's look at this a little bit. The problem we have in Maine is getting the cost of energy down. The only reason why wind energy is around at all is because of federal subsidies. It costs roughly 23 to 24 cents a kilowatt hour. The national average for energy is 10 cents. We pay in Maine 15 cents. Wind energy, and I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. The only wind farm in existence that I know of that's offshore, not on land but offshore, is the coast of Rhode Island. 38 megawatts of power. They just sold a 20-year contract back to the state at 24 cents a kilowatt hour. If you talk to the folks up at Bangor Hydro, they'll tell you the truth. On land wind's about 22 cents. So here's the problem. State is broke. We can't subsidize this. We have no more money. Okay? So that we have to rely on the feds to come here and help start a new industry and employ our people. If they want to do it, I'm fine with that. Absolutely fine with that. But it doesn't drive down our cost of energy. We have to make sure we're not substituting something that's more expensive for something that's already too expensive. Yes, Kevin?
What's your plan on what they reform?
One of the biggest parts of our budget are our social services. 30% of what we spend at the state level is our network of social services, welfare programs. I believe the welfare programs are designed to make sure we help people become independent. We help them, give them a leg up. We're not trying to, and should not try to, keep them permanently dependent on the state. It's not fair to the taxpayers. It's not fair to them. So what I propose, Kevin, as governor, is to reduce the benefits in our welfare programs so they're no more generous than those provided by other states, and institute a residency requirement. So folks have to be in Maine for a period of time before they can qualify for these benefits. That's only fair to the folks that are paying the bills. It's also most fair to those long-term who are in these programs to help them. Workfare, good idea. There are some states who, by the way, states have a lot of flexibility in designing their social services programs, and a lot of states have adopted these reforms. Maine has not. The state of Wisconsin has done a fabulous job dropping its welfare rolls by mandatory. I'm not sure about the drug and alcohol testing in Wisconsin. Okay. You are okay. Oh, wonderful. You know what they've done there. Tommy Thompson started this years ago. Did a fabulous job as their governor. But mandatory work for their benefits, and so a responsibility on their part to further their education or get a job, and so forth and so on. I mean, we can do those things here, but we need someone at the top who believes in it, who's tough. Government works best when you have a thriving business economy, because it's the businesses and the employees that work at the businesses that create the income, part of which is taxed, of course, to pay for educating our kids, taking care of those who really need help, repairing our roads and bridges. But the problem that we have in this state is that we have so run the business sector into the ground that it's not generating the tax revenues we need to do all these things. People of Maine, you folks, you can handle the truth. It doesn't scare you. We've always done more with less up here. You need someone to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. Tonight, I have been telling the truth for the last year and a half, and I will tell the truth for the last 21 days. It starts with your parents. It starts at home. In any event, first thing I'll do as governor is introduce a new attitude when it comes to business development and jobs. Businesses are not the enemy. They employ our people and give our folks a shot at a better life. We need to do everything humanly possible to help our businesses thrive, not get in their way. Second, and this makes me different from a lot of the plans that some of the other candidates have. We need to get at spending. Some folks are saying, you know, all we need to do is cut taxes, Faye, and then we'll create jobs. Right now, we have no more money. We cut taxes right now without touching spending, we're in bankruptcy. Okay? You gotta get at spending first. It is very important how you manage this process. Spending is absolutely critical. We need to become one of those states that do what you do. You spend only what you take in. That's not too hard. It's not, I mean, we've been doing this forever. Spend only what you take in. Then I'll lead the effort for real, meaningful tax reduction. Not this shell game that we're all voting on June 8th, but real meaningful tax reduction. So we can help businesses grow, create jobs, keep our kids here. And then we'll do something that doesn't cost anything. It's simplify our regulatory environment. Make it easier to do business in Maine. One of the companies I run is a housing construction firm down in Mid-Coast. I got a great project down there. I negotiated for 2.5 years, 2.5 years, with 4 state agencies, 3 at the local level. At the state level, include the DEP, Army Corps, Inland Fishery and Wildlife, and the Natural Areas Program. 2.5 years before I could proceed, 2.5 years before I could hire 1 worker. Now that's unacceptable. Folks come up here and say, I can't make it here. I go to New Hampshire or the Carolinas or wherever it is, and it's 120 days, whatever it is. So we need someone from the Blaine House, or is in the Blaine House, who has had that painful experience of negotiating this web of regulations in the state to fix it. But we do those 4 things, Alan. We will start creating a business-friendly economy. We will attract businesses to start, to create jobs, to keep these kids here, and to generate the tax revenues. We need to educate our kids and everything else we need to do. You don't need to get everybody's vote in the legislature to get things done, but you need to get enough. What I will do as governor is, if we are having a hard time getting these problems solved, I'll go directly to you folks, explain to you very clearly why we're not making progress, who is getting in the way, and ask you to put pressure on your legislators. Let me tell you, that gets stuff done. But you can't be a politician worrying about the next election, because you won't do that. But someone from the private sector who doesn't care a hoot about the next election, but doing the right thing, because it's the right thing to do and no other reason than that, can get that done. Is it going to be tough, Bill? It is going to be very tough, very difficult. But you know, the next governor is facing a $1 billion shortfall. $1 billion. We just struggled, George, going through plugging a $350 million hole. The next guy's walking in at $1 billion short. So, you know, sometimes in a democracy, you get right to the edge, and you're looking down in the abyss, and you have no other choice. We're there. Remember, we're not like the federal government where you can just print money and have someone else buy it like the Chinese. We got to balance our books. It's the law of the land in the state of Maine. We have no choice. So we can get this done. Part of it is the circumstances that we face. Part of it is someone who's got courage to go directly to the voters of Maine. Make sure they put pressure on the legislature.